Chelsea agree personal terms with Wesley Fofana as Leicester City set to demand around £70 million for the French international. Okay, so in today's video we are going to be talking about Chelsea's latest defensive target Wesley Fofana and why he may be the perfect fit for this current Chelsea squad. And I am also going to be telling you guys about why Leicester may be willing to lower their asking price for the French international. So before we do begin, if you do find this type of content interesting, please do consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification to be notified of future uploads. Anyway, with all of that out of the way, let's get into it. Okay, so starting off today's video, it is no secret that Chelsea FC did unfortunately miss out on the signing of Jules Koundé, who did make the switch to FC Barcelona. However, all of this does seem to be water under the bridge for Chelsea FC because almost immediately they were linked with yet another French international who already does play in the Premier League, and this player is of course Wesley Fofana. Now, Wesley Fofana is a 21-year-old French international who does play in the position of centre-back for Leicester City. He did make the switch to the Premier League in the year 2020 for a fee of around £30 million, and after having a solid debut season for the Foxes, he did unfortunately suffer a serious injury in a pre-season match against Villarreal, and this made him miss out the majority of the previous campaign. However, despite his injury crisis, the player seems to have recovered pretty well after returning in the final month of his previous campaign. And after his return to the Leicester City first team, the Foxes seem to be impressed more than anybody else because immediately upon his return, they did offer him a 2-year contract extension, which would see him at Leicester City up until the year 2027. However, despite the fact that Fofana did very recently extend his contract with Leicester City, the rumours have not died down linking him with a move to Chelsea FC, and the very recent reports have gone so far as to state that he has already agreed personal terms with the club, with Thomas Tuchel hoping to sign the French international to play alongside Kalidou Koulibaly and Thiago Silva. However, it must be noted that this post does further go on to state that Chelsea have a lot of work to do, with Leicester City apparently really reluctant to make a sale for the player. And this was of course confirmed by the Italian journalist Fabrizio Romano, who did state that while Thomas Tuchel was a big fan of the French defender, he did confirm that Leicester really did want to keep the player, and the fact that he had very recently signed a contract extension would make the transfer very difficult unless Chelsea were to put in a really big bid for Wesley Fofana, with a price of around £70 million considered to be the minimum for Leicester City to even consider a sale. Okay, so I do understand that £70 million is a lot of money. However, from Leicester's perspective, it does make a little bit of sense because in addition to Wesley Fofana having a deal with Leicester City valid until the year 2027, he is without a doubt one of the brightest prospects in world football, being just 21 years old and already being considered one of the best in the Premier League when it comes to ball interceptions, aerial duel wins, passing, tackling and concentration. And when you do compare his statistics in the previous campaign to the likes of Jules Koundé, it is pretty clear that Wesley Fofana has not only fully recovered from his leg injury, but he has also managed to put in a higher number of tackles won, interceptions, fouls, offsides and clearances in the Premier League, which is considered to be a much more physical footballing league to the La Liga. So yeah guys, as per these statistics, it is pretty clear that Wesley Fofana would be much better suited for the Premier League and Chelsea FC rather than the former transfer target Jules Koundé. And when you also do take into account the fact that Wesley Fofana has been a boyhood fan of Chelsea FC, it does seem like a match made in heaven, other than the fact that Leicester City are demanding £70 million for the player. However, I do personally think that they would be willing to bring this price tag down, and the main reason for this is the fact that Leicester City are currently facing a bit of issues with regards to financial fair play. And because of this, the Foxes have failed to make a single signing during this transfer window and have already seen the likes of Kasper Schmeichel, their club legend, leave the club. So because of their restrictions when it comes to signing players, I do think that Leicester City would be willing to listen to offers from Chelsea FC to offload Wesley Fofana in order to sign a few new players before the end of the transfer window. anyway, I will definitely keep all of you all updated if this transfer story does progress during the upcoming days. So do subscribe if you haven't already done so, and please do consider liking the video if you did find it useful. Stay safe, and I will catch you guys in the next one.